Hi, Julie Torrens here. So, we're changing gears just for fun. This is a book that I got years ago from Jane Davenport called Fabulous Figures, and this has got a copyright of 2018. So, it's not too old, not too young. A great book. She teaches a technique for using hearts to draw figures. And then, the artwork in here alone is just beautiful. But there's also a class. If you go to her janedavenport.com, she has a class you can take that the book goes right along with. But the book is complete enough that you don't necessarily need to have the class. So this is my inspiration, and this is one of the classes, but we're going to do, and mine won't look anything like this, but I just wanted to show you the book and where I got my inspiration. So Fabulous Figures, Jane Davenport, great book. So what I did, this is a page, part of a page. I cut it off this way, of one of my digitals. And what each of these circles is designed for is for you to take your 1-inch punch, and then each one of these becomes an embellishment that you can use in your making of ephemera and such. But I took, and I wanted to use the whole page because I think it's so pretty. Anyway, as much of the page that would fit. And this took a little prep. I took my Liquitex matte medium. Now this is not gel, this is just liquid. And I put a coat on my art journal. Then I laid this down, and yes, I got a few wrinkles, it's fine. But then I made sure the medium went all the way over. So anywhere my acrylic paints or whatever other mediums I'm using, it's easy to wipe off and they'll react predictably. Now I only have 3 colors of paint. I have this, and this is from Artist Loft from Michaels, and it's called Light Portrait Pink. And then I have my Liquitex Titanium White, and I have my Liquitex Mars Black. So that's all the colors that I'm going to be using for this. Now I pulled out some watercolor pencils because I wanted, hopefully, this isn't a watercolor pencil, hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm doing, as I draw, because that was my goal, that you could see. So I picked these out, and then theoretically, I should be able to simply take some water and lift it up if I want. And I'm going to put my 4 heads here. So I'm just going to make 4 ovals or pear shapes. These might be a little small. I may need to go a little bit bigger. We'll see. Maybe not. Okay, so there's my 4 heads and throats. And then as you can see, my paper is going to be their gowns. And these ovals and all, these are just guidelines for me. So now if I want to go ahead and create a neckline here, like this, and I'll give her a neckline, maybe kind of a circly shape. I hope you can see this. And this one, just a little bit of a neckline. And maybe this one will have kind of a heart shape. Okay, so I don't know if you can see all these. I'm going to switch over. This is dark umber, and maybe you'll be able to see this a little bit better. Okay, so now I need to put in their figures. So the book has you do hearts, and the upper heart is the upper torso, and then the bottom heart is the hips and all that. I'm not going to do that right now, but it is a system that works really, really well. I want to go back to the light because I know that when my acrylic hits this dark, it's going to blend in. So I would rather not have too much of that dark. All right, so let's just work on a waist and then a gown. And a waist. Even I'm having a hard time seeing it. Well, we just may have to go with this. And there's her waist and a gown. And if the gowns overlap, you know, that's fine. And let's give her maybe a little lower waist. And this one, maybe she has kind of an empire waist. And there. And let's make this so that perhaps you can see it. Okay. Now I'm going to have to kind of figure out their arms and stuff, and I think I'll do that in a minute. I've got 2 containers of water. I've got my paper plate, which is going to be my mixing palette, and I'm just going to start out with the portrait pink. And let's get some of this. This is very heavy body. For a store brand, I like this. I know that they've changed up the packaging of their store brand, but I don't know if the quality has changed. I do not use the same brushes for my acrylics as I use for my watercolor, because if anything's going to ruin a brush, it's going to be acrylics over watercolor. It's just the way it is. Making her face just a little bit bigger. I've got a weird stray hair. See if I can, yeah, I was able to pull that out. Okay. Oh, I almost put it in my coffee. I'm just adding a little bit more water. And bring down the neckline here. So how are you? I hope you're doing well. I'm doing okay. Enjoying the change. We're still very much in a summer mode here in Western Michigan. Today is August 5, 2023. I'm concentrating and that makes me go quiet. I'm sorry. And I may need to put, like here where I'm over a darker shade, I may need to put a second coat, and that's fine. Oh, I almost did it again in my coffee. And I don't know why, because I always keep my water on my right-hand side. But it's just catching my eye. Oh, and there goes the air conditioning. So if you hear that, sorry. It's warm and it's humid. Sometimes I run my air conditioning more as a dehumidifier than to actually cool things off. Just gonna smooth her face out a little here. All right. As you can see, I made the faces a little bit bigger. Now that I have all 4 of them, it just feels like that's the thing to do. I may even make her head just a little bigger. I just wanted to show you another way you can use my digitals. And this is part of my summer collection, and you get it at PM Artist Studios. That's where I've got my digitals. And they have got a lot of printables. They're called Printables. So if you go to their site, and I will link how to get to my digitals. I have a fall collection out, and this is the summer collection. Both of them are very versatile. You'll be able to use them for more than just those two seasons. But I guess especially the autumn has colors that is a little bit warmer. And my summer is brights. Yep. Okay, I'm liking those 4 heads. Now I kind of have to decide, where are they going to have straps? Where are they going to have arms? All of that. But now that I've got their heads on where I can see them, and I got an awful lot of paint left over. Well, we'll leave it there for a minute, and I'm just going to take water spray and just give it a mist so it hopefully doesn't dry out too fast, because I don't know where I'm going to put their arms exactly yet. All right, so I think this one could have a sleeve like that, and then a sleeve like that, and then she'll need her arms. And this one, maybe a little cap sleeve. And bring up her torso. Now this girl, her arms may not even show. Because this girl, I think I'm going to just give her kind of a strap or something, and then I'll give her some arms. Okay, now I need to paint in some arms. All right. Now, if your arms are out straight, if this is where their knees are, that is about where your fingertips really are almost kind of mid-calf, I would say. So we just kind of want to keep that in mind. This arm, though, could just go right off the page, like that. And again, I may need to put an extra coat, and that's fine. All right. And I'm going to put her arm in first. And I think her arm is just going to go behind her. And you can't even see her arm over here. And this one's arm, maybe it'll just kind of come down this way. And maybe the same here. Could even just fill it in like this. Okay. And now this one, her arm. And then her arm over here. Go behind her dress. All right, I'm going to see if I can kind of darken these up a little bit. Need a little bit of water. Good. She needs another arm. I'll have to come back to this girl and give her another coat, little water. And this arm. That arm's gotten awful heavy. That's all right. We're not looking for some type of anatomically perfect, not at all. Okay. I think we've kind of hid the background on this part. Alrighty. Okay. Now, I'm going to try something. Don't know if it's going to work, but we're going to give it a try. I am going to just get a Q-tip. Sorry for the reach. Dip it in the water and see if I can just, erase that little heavy arm. I'm going to erase that black mark too while I'm at it. All right, I think we've got enough going on. I'm going to erase. I may get something just a little bit more robust. Yeah, let's get a piece of paper towel. So I think I can kind of now have it in my mind where I'm going to be putting these lines. I'm going to stick with the Q-tip where I want to take it off of around the acrylics. I can always do some more of that later. But I really don't want to have real dark showing up on this background. You'll see what I mean as I keep going, I promise. Okay. Let's get a brush here again. Good. This is why I like to have watercolor pencils in my arsenal. As I say, even if I don't get it all off, it's not going to affect the painting as much. I'm using like every brush I have. It's silly. Okay. So have you had your art journals out lately? It hasn't been that long since I had the art journal out because we did a magazine collage and that was a lot of fun, wasn't it? That's just a couple videos back. All right, let's keep going. I think we're going to be okay. So the next step is going to be, well, I have an awful lot of this skin tone out. I'm going to see what I can scoop back into this tube. Hang on. I just banged the tube. And I'm going to get a dry brush. Do I have one left? And see if I can just scoop some of this back in the tube. Does that seem like I'm really cheap? Well, the reality is I am. Even if I don't get it all in, which I won't, at least I'm getting some back. All right, enough goofing around with that, and put the lid on. Good. All right. Okay. So the next part is going to be the negative space painting. So I've got my titanium white. That's not it. And I'm going to do white. Oftentimes I do a dark color, but I thought, well, wouldn't it be fun to do white for a change? And I'm going to add just a dot of the black. And I mean just barely a dot, because I want this to be grayish. So let's mix this up. And look how strong that Mars black is. I don't want too many different shades, so I'm giving this a pretty good mix. But I didn't want like printer paper white. That's just too stark. I'm going to add a little more black. Is this my black? No, that's more white. Here we go. Again, just touch. Good. Mix, 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 mix. Okay. All right, I'm going to start out by cutting in around their arms and where like the waistband of their dresses are. So like right here's a spot. Well, that is a really small spot and my brush is super full. Let me pick like right here. Her gown. I can always cut it in more. So if I'm going a little wide, that's okay with me. You can see my head, I'm sorry. There's not going to be a whole lot there or between these. All right, let's get her shape in. Now this one's dress, and this one's dress. I think it'll be about like that. Now over here, now I can cut this in. Is it starting to look like some dresses? At all? It will. I hope it will. Okay, and some of this may need a second coat, and I'm not going to worry about that. It's okay. Now let's get around her shoulder and around her shoulder. And yes, I will be adding hair and faces. Now, if you have the autumn collection of my digital, then you will have not this exact sheet, of course, but a similar with doodles that you can use in the same application if you would want. Again, I'm using the summer one, which is like, I think it's like whimsical watercolor, something like that. All of my digitals are not digital. What I mean is, I did not do them on a computer. They are hand-painted watercolors that have been scanned, but there's been no color correction or anything like that from a software. They are just the way they came right off of my watercolor paper. And of course, I think they're beautiful. But I also think they're versatile, and I think you can do a lot with them. I'm already getting the second coat. Paint's dry. There we go. Okay. Again, dry. This heavy body is just that, and it dries fast. If you're going to water down your acrylics, you really shouldn't water them down any more than 25%. I see people watering down heavy body to try to turn it into watercolor. What you risk is getting the ratio of pigment and binder off kilter, and then you're at a great risk of having your watercolor or your paint flake off. So you really want to be careful with that. If you want to use acrylic in more of a watercolor application, then I would recommend something like acrylic gouache or just non-heavy bodied, even fluid acrylics. And you can get the same colors. You can even get acrylics in an ink where it is liquid. But to take heavy body or even a light body and just keep watering it and watering it, it's not a good idea. And I do not have stock in any watercolor or acrylic paint companies or anything like that that I'm trying to get you to buy more paint. I just don't want you to be disappointed. But, you know, they have scientists that check all this stuff out. Okay, we're getting there. I hope this is a project that you might give a try. And even if you don't have a digital to use here, use a magazine page, use your own doodle sheet. It's fun. I promise. It's supposed to get in the 80s today. And we've got right now kind of a partly cloudy. You can see some blue sky poking through here and there. But I think it's going to be kind of a mostly cloudy day. It's one of those days that you may not realize how much sun is actually getting through. Oh, if you just heard a beep, that's my coffee maker telling me it's not going to keep my coffee hot anymore. That's fine. Okay, how we doing? I'm leaning back so I can see a little better. All right, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in here. Yes. And clean this up a little bit. Like that. I think I'm going to bring her dress or the background up a little bit. Okay. All right, switching off to a bigger brush. I've got a bigger brush here, but it might be too big. I'm going to just, you don't like to just soak your brushes, but I've got 2 water containers here. And my brushes will still probably need a nice soap and water. I'm going to go ahead and wet this moppy brush, this big square brush, and get a good amount of paint on here. When you wet your brush first, it just keeps the paint from sinking deep into the bristles, and then you don't really get any paint. That paint, you don't get it necessarily on the paper. It just stays deep inside. So there we go. Okay, are you seeing the girls? All right. Yep. All right, I see some spots. And I guess I didn't need to really rinse this out yet because I also see some places that I'm going to add a second coat to try to knock back the background. Well, it's the part of the dresses that I don't necessarily want to show, and this brush is too big for that. Okay, let's just, I'm going to just do this larger areas. Give it a little more paint. Ooh, I went way over into the collage next door. That's all right. It's my art journal. Yeah, I need to get my little brush again. As I continue to paint with the large one, huh? Not just the way I am. Okay, let's give this one a good rinse. And I'm sorry that you're having to spend so much time while I rinse a brush out, but it makes a difference. Because these acrylics will dry very fast in a brush, but if it's even just watered down, that helps. All right, I'm gonna go in here again. Water. Okay. I like acrylics. I like watercolor. I am the M in mixed media. I really like mixed media. And this is collage and acrylic. And we're going to be using some other things. How we doing? Are they coming together a little bit? All right, I think I'm going to, a little water. You know, when I lean back, I can kind of see some areas that I think could use just a little changing up to define the dresses a little bit more. Yeah. If you're looking at my sad nails, I know they need redoing, but one of the things that took this polish out was acrylic painting, and so I just thought, well, I'm going to do this project first before I go ahead and redo these nails. Okay, I'm leaning back, taking a look. And I'm sure you're seeing areas that I am not seeing. I tell you, I always see them when I get to the editing process, where I wish I would have done something. It's usually more. And that's why my 2023 words were bigger, brighter, bolder, because I always, well, I can't say always, but a lot of the time I feel like I should have done a little more. All right, let's get this in here, this part in here. Yep, this looks a little rough yet. I'm seeing them. Are you seeing the girls? As it dries, I can see places that the background was still trying to peek through a little bit, and it's gonna. I mean, we're not fooling anyone. All right, now the bottom. I'm going to take, yes, this rinse out. I'm going to take that bigger brush, wet it a little bit, get some of this gray. Let me know in the comments, does it look gray or does it look white to you? I'm going to right straight across the bottom. And just connect this part down. Okay. I think here the dress can go right off the edge, but I'm going to now add, again, I'm leaning back a little bit. Just trying to kind of think about where the dresses might show a little bit more of the earth below. Okay. Let's get the smaller brush. And just kind of round things out maybe a little bit. Okay. Now, I see a big old place that I missed. Right in here. Now she has a waist. See? When the paint is really fresh, I pretty much just see a reflection. I don't really see the paint, but as it dries, I can see just a little bit more of what's going on. Okay. I think it's looking sweet. All right. Now, I'm going to see if any of this portrait pink is still alive. Yeah. Yep. A little bit. Don't need much. Just kind of reactivating before it completely dries. Some of these places on the arms, I just feel could use another coat. Water came rushing down my brush. Let's mop up a little bit of the water. I'm going to get my tube of paint here. I probably have some even on the lid. There we go. Okay, that looks better. Yes. Okay, now I'm going to give these brushes a bit of a swoosh. I have a good amount of this gray left. So I wish I had an art journal nearby, but I don't. I have a book. I could just grab a piece of book page. Nothing's easy. There we go. And let's just use this up. At least some of it up. This will be fun. And I'm putting a thinner coat. Not thinned with water, but just not much paint on my brush. To do a little something different for book page using. I'm going to get one more. And then we're just going to have to say, oh well. Ugh. I think I have two there. So these are the ways I use up acrylics. Now I can't obviously put this back in the tube because I used two colors. And I'm certainly not going to change a whole tube of titanium white into gray. And do we even have to talk about the Mars Black? Yeah. I mean, I try very hard, as most artists, to not waste. But, you know, especially when you're doing a video. I mean, if I wasn't doing a video, I'd be getting up off of this chair and I'd be getting some art journals because gray makes a great background. But it'll be fine for this too. As I say, it's a good way. And, you know, if you have some book page that is just so fragile, and sometimes you do run into that, by putting acrylic on it, it'll help kind of reseal up those fibers. Okay. All right. Thanks for hanging in there while I did that. And I'm just going to set this over here. And yes, you heard it flop into the garbage, but it's right on top and I can still use that. I just don't want to put my arm in it, which would not be a first. Okay. All right. So we've got our beautiful ladies and their dresses, but they're going to need some oomph. So I've got the Poscas. Now these are the thinner Poscas, but I thought let's do some magic to their dresses. All right. I'm going to grab the white, give it a shake. And I'm just going to start with her. Now, she had kind of an empire. Like that. I like that. Maybe I'll even bring it this way. Good. I'm getting some bouncing, but I can't rest my hand because the acrylic paint is still wet. See. Good. Now maybe This same design is along her neckline. Like that. I think that looks nice. Okay, I like that for a start. And let's pick a different color. I'm going to pick this light blue. And then for this woman, maybe kind of a hippie. I mean, like from her waist to her hips, kind of a design. Maybe some stripes. Like that. I think I'm going to make it solid. I'm not liking the stripes. Oh yeah, I like that better. Now, this would go all the way to here. Okay. Yeah, that looks good. Now maybe she would have, let's bring this up here. Maybe she would have some kind of a repeat of the color up here. I'm really not much of a fashion designer, I gotta tell you. Good. Then maybe her hem. And bump it up like there's a little bit of a fold in it. Couple folds. Alrighty. I like that. Yes, I do like this. That may need a second coat, but that's okay. All right, now this dress. It's got red. See her red flower right there? And that's got a blue center. So maybe I'll put another one right here. And then it's got a black around the center. It's got purple dots. I want to kind of keep track of where her dress ends. And then here. It's not exact, but I think it looks cool. Yep, I think we need to do one more of those. I'll try not to take so long. All right, let's get the blue center. And then the red. And then purple dots. Little black lines. And I'm noticing there's some light blue dots between, seeing where I can rest my hand, light blue dots between the purple dots. So we can do that. Okay. And then just a black circle here. Okay. Now, I think I'm just gonna use the red and give her a neckline of red and maybe her sleeve. Yep. Maybe, let's see. Like she's got a little red hem. She needs something for her waist though, doesn't she? Maybe I can use the light blue. I know it's light blue up against light blue, but it's just gonna be like that. And maybe a bow. There. Good. I'm gonna go ahead and put the light blue here. Like that. Okay, one more. And she's got kind of a yellow dress, doesn't she? I think I'm just going to go ahead and outline her in black. Now, where can I set my hand? Just like that. Good. Okay, this is kind of lost, the blue tie. So I'm going to go ahead with the red. There, punch that up a little bit. Now this one, I'm going to take some yellow. Yep. Yes. What do you think? I think they're turning out great. All right, they need hair. And all this needs to just have a half a second to dry, but let's just, if we get these back in and then pick out some hair colors. All right, so I want to have brown. Maybe I'll just start right over here. I should start over here. All right. Okay. Am I dragging into wet stuff? I don't think so. I can fix it if I am. I'm going to start with her with some bangs. And then like this. Yep. Okay. Good, good, good. Okay, I'm picking up a little of the background paint. That's all right. Just wipe it off my tip because this is acrylic with acrylic. If this was alcohol marker, I'm afraid I'd be ruining the marker. All right, let's let that rest. And let's get another hair color, red. And I'm going to give her a little bit of a side. A little bit of a side part. Okay. And should somebody have like a little bit of a wild color? Like pink? I think a bang. And then just straight. Okay, they're all going to need a little bit more done to their hair. That's okay. And let's get the yellow. Now I know this video's getting long, but that's the process. And we're having fun. Thanks for hanging in there with me. Maybe her hair even shows here a little bit. And I'm going to add some brown to her. Or maybe orange. That still usually reads as a blonde. Okay, I'm going to go back to the brown. And I'm going to go ahead and give her, well, I think I was going to say eyebrows, but I'm going to wait till I get the eyes in. All right, the pink. Red. The Posca doesn't like to draw on top of wet Posca, so I've just let the first go round dry, And then I'm adding second. See, it's still wet. So I just clean the nib off. Okay. All right. Faces. Let's start out with just a little eye. Good. And some eye color. I think I'm going to give the blonde a blue eye. And maybe the pink hair. And then let's get a green eye for our redhead. And then a brown eye for our brown haired girl. Good. And I'm just going to use pink to make a little nose suggestion. Like that. And then I'm going to give the pink girl some red lipstick. And I'm just going to do 3 circles and then bring it up a little bit. Good. I'll give this one like that. And the redhead could have some red lipstick. And then maybe the blonde can have some pink lipstick. She may need another color. I'm not sure. We'll see. All right, now eyelashes. And some cheeks. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, I am going to just go in with the light blue and see if I can just touch up a little bit. Yeah, just where I could see, like between the yellow and the blue. It didn't really look so great. Okay. And I think I'm going to give her a little blue right here. Good. Yep. All right. How about I'm going to grab the brown and I'm going to give this girl, I think, a little choker. Like that, with a heart. Okay. And maybe the yellow girl, I don't know if yellow would show up, maybe black. She could have a little, some kind of a little black necklace. Maybe like a double chain. good. We can't really see anyone's wrists to give them a bracelet. I'm going to give this girl just a little something on her. And this one can have purple too. Good. Alrighty. What do you think? I think they're great. I think they look like they're floating. I think I'm going to add just a little bit just a little scribble on the bottom. Okay. Wow. Well, if you stayed with me for this process, I am so grateful. Let me know what you think of the girls and how the use of the digital. In the meantime, please consider hitting like, subscribe. It helps my channel so much. I look forward to seeing you in another video. Bye now.